BFM 91.2 को स्टुडियो घडीमा दिनको ठीक 4 बजेको छ।
यस टाइम चेकका प्रायोजक
सप्तकोशी ओपिसी सिमेन्ट, पूर्वको गौरव।
तपाईको वहाँ 100% तपाईको।
आगामी कार्यक्रमको साथमा कोहिनोर चस्मा घर, रङ्गेली रोड, विराटनगर। कोहिनोर चस्मा घर फर बेटर भिजन।
नेपाल शिक्षक सङ्घ जिल्ला कार्य समिति मोरङ र BFM 91.2 प्रस्तुत गर्दछ SE तयारी रेडियो कार्यक्रम।
प्रत्येक दिन दिउँसो 4 बजे BFM 91.2 मा।
अब यहाँहरूले सुन्न सक्नुहुनेछ SE तयारी रेडियो कार्यक्रम।
विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरू, विश्वमा महामारीको रूपमा फैलिएको कोरोना भाइरस कोभिड-19 को कारण SE परीक्षा अहिले स्थगित छ।
परीक्षाको तयारीमा रहेका विद्यार्थीलाई लक्षित गरी हरेक दिन दिउँसो 4 बजेदेखि सम्बन्धित विषयका सम्बन्धित शिक्षकहरूबाट SE तयारी कक्षा रेडियो कार्यक्रम सञ्चालन गरिनेछ।
कार्यक्रममा हरेक दिन छुट्टा छुट्टै विषय सिकाइनेछ।
आइतबार र सोमबार अङ्ग्रेजी,
मङ्गलबार सामाजिक शिक्षा,
बुधबार र बिहीबार विज्ञान,
शुक्रबार गणित र
शनिबार नेपाली विषय सिकाइनेछ।
विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरू, यहाँहरूसँग कुनै पनि विषयमाथिको जिज्ञासा र कठिनाई भए हाम्रो फेसबुक पेज SCE प्रिपरेसन @BFM मार्फत राख्न सक्नुहुनेछ।
विस्तृत जानकारीका लागि 98 420 30 409 98 420 30 409 मा सम्पर्क गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ।
Hello, namaste and welcome everybody, especially the SEE candidates. You are welcomed here in the radio program SEE Preparation with NTA, Morang, and BFM 91.2 MHz 100% yours. This program has been produced by the mutual effort of Nepal Teachers Association Morang and BFM 91.2 MHz. Dear students, the COVID-19 pandemic has compelled us to suspend our usual activities. But there is nothing without solution. No doubt, we will be out of this disaster sooner or later. Being aware on our responsibility with you, here we are in the radio classroom. Hope you are together with us. I am Pravesh Dulal, teacher from Adarsh Secondary School, and here is my friend Mr. Gyanendra Saha, teacher from Gogra Secondary School, Viratnagar. We both heartily appreciate your presence and hope you will be benefited with today's discussion. The radio program starts at 4 p.m. every day, that goes for an hour. Today, we are with class 10 science students discussing on the chapter from biology, heredity.
सम्पूर्ण श्रोतागणहरूमा म ज्ञानेन्द्र शाह, गोगरा मावि, विराटनगर विज्ञान शिक्षक सबैमा नमस्कार। हिजो हामी प्रश्न सोधेका थियौं। दुईजना व्यक्तिहरू एक आपसमा कुरा गरिरहेका छन् जसमा ए नाम गरेको व्यक्तिको छोटो कद, गोलो टाउको, चिरा परेको जिब्रो र बी नाम गरेको व्यक्तिको पुरुषको जस्तो देखिए पनि महिलाको जस्तो अस्तन देखिन्छ। माथिको लक्षणको आधारमा उत्तर दिनुहोस् भन्ने हाम्रो प्रश्न थियो। त्यसको सही जवाफ हो प्रश्नहरू व्यक्ति ए र बी मा कुन कुन सिन्ड्रोम भएका छन्। क्वेशन नम्बर 2, यिनीहरूमा यस्तो हुनुको कारण के हुन्। पहिलो प्रश्नको उत्तर हो ए डाउन सिन्ड्रोम, बी क्लेनेफेल्टर सिन्ड्रोम। क्वेशन नम्बर 2 को आन्सर हो क्रोमोजोमल डिसअर्डरले हुने क्रममा ए व्यक्तिमा 21औं क्रोमोजोम ट्रिसोमी अफ 21 जोडीमा अतिरिक्त क्रोमोजोम थपिनु हो र बी व्यक्तिमा एक्स क्रोमोजोमको संख्या बढेर 47 44 प्लस XXY गरेर 47 देखिन्छ। अब यही क्रममा केही भाइ बहिनीहरूले हामीलाई प्रश्न पनि सोध्नु भएको छ। ती भाइहरूको नाम म क्रमशः पढ्न चाहन्छु। विकास सुतियार धनपाल थानबाट सोध्नु भएको छ, गभर्मेन्ट बुकमा 4 प्रकारको क्रोमोजोम हुन्छ, तर तपाईहरूले 5 प्रकार भन्नुभयो, के हो सत्य तथ्य भनेर। विकास सुतियार भाइलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद प्रश्न सोधेकोमा। सेन्ट्रोमेयरको स्थानको आधारमा सेन्ट्रोमेयर नभएको 1 र सेन्ट्रोमेयर भएको 4 गरी जम्मा 5 प्रकारका छन्। त्यस्तै गरेर आदर्श स्कुलको भाइहरूले पनि प्रश्न राखेका छन्। सेक्स अङ्गद दाहाल भन्ने एकजना भाइले सेक्स डिटर्मिनेसनलाई भनिदिनु पर्ने भयो भन्ने कुरा गरेका छन्। अर्को पेलभ पौडेल भाइले क्रोमोजोमको सङ्ख्या सोधेका छन्। ओभममा कतिवटा क्रोमोजोम हुन्छ, जाइगोटमा कतिवटा क्रोमोजोम हुन्छ। यी दुवैजना भाइको क्वेसन सिमिलर भएकोले म एकैचोटि आन्सर दिन चाहन्छु। मेलमा जम्मा 23 जोडा क्रोमोजोम हुन्छन्, फिमेलमा पनि 23 जोडा हुन्छन्। जब मेलबाट स्पर्म बन्न थाल्छ त्यो बेलामा मियोटिक सेल डिभिजन भएर हाफ नम्बर अफ द क्रोमोजोम्स रहन्छ। त्यस्तै एगतिर पनि हाफ रह्यो क्रोमोजोमको सङ्ख्या। भनेपछि स्पर्म र एगमा अथवा अभममा क्रोमोजोमको सङ्ख्या कति हुन्छ भनेपछि 23 वटा मात्रै भयो, आधा, हाफ नम्बर अफ द क्रोमोजोम। अनि स्पर्मतिर 22 प्लस एक्स र 22 प्लस वाई। यहाँ त एक्स र वाईका थुप्रा स्पर्मेटोजोआहरू बनेका हुन्छन्, तर एगतिर एउटा मात्र एक्स क्रोमोजोम हुन्छन्। अब मेलबाट आउने क्रोमोजोममा यदि 22 प्लस एक्स आयो भने उता त फिमेलतिर अथवा एगतिर 22 प्लस एक्स मात्रै छ, दुईटा मिल्यो भने केटी हुने भयो, गर्ल हुने भयो। अब यसमा 22 प्लस वाई पुरुषबाट आयो भने अथवा मेलबाट आयो भने यताबाट 22 प्लस एक्स छ, दुवै गरेर 22 प्लस एक्स वाई आयो भने बोय हुन्छ, 22 प्लस एक्सएक्स आयो भने गर्ल हुन्छ। भाइहरूलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद हामीलाई यो कार्यक्रममा सहयोग गर्नुभएकोमा, आफ्नो जिज्ञासा राख्नुभएकोमा। यस्तै गरेर हिजोको प्रश्नको जवाफ विराट शाहले दिनुभएको छ, जुन हामी प्रश्न राखेका थियौँ। त्यो भाइले सही जवाफ दिएकोमा त्यसलाई हामी धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छौँ। यसको साथै सबै सहभागी भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई धन्यवाद दिँदै, भाइ बहिनीहरू तपाईँहरूको प्रश्न जिज्ञासा हामी समाधान गर्दछौँ। तपाईँहरू हाम्रो फेसबुक आइडी cpreparation@bfm मा पठाउनुहोला। समय भएसम्म तपाईँको नाम एड्रेस सहित BFM-बाट हामी प्रसारण गर्नेछौँ। अब म विषयवस्तुतिर प्रवेश गर्दैछु। आजको हाम्रो विषय रहेको छ वंशानुक्रम, हेरिडिटी। यसका अब्जेक्टिभ्स, उद्देश्यहरू। नम्बर 1, यस पाठ पढिसकेपछि मेन्डलका नियमहरू जानिसकेका हुनेछौँ। मेन्डल्स लो एन्ड एक्सपेरिमेन्टका बारेमा हामी जानिसकेका हुनेछौँ। दोस्रो, प्रवृत्ति र उत्परिवर्तनका बारेमा जानिसकेका हुनेछौँ। भेरिएसन एन्ड म्युटेसन आजको हाम्रो अब्जेक्टिभ यो दुईटा राखेका छौँ, मेन्डल्स लो एन्ड एक्सपेरिमेन्ट, भेरिएसन एन्ड म्युटेसन।
Okay, students, that was all about yesterday's queries, the questions. Now today, let us start with the topic heredity. Have you ever seen a goat giving birth to a fish? No, right? Only the generation continues with the inheritance of same kind of species. Also, there are similarities among the members of the family. Still, they are not alike. They will have some dissimilarities among them, which is called variation in science. Just look at the mirror once and see how you look. Do you look like your father or your mother? You may also have some characteristics similar to your grandparents. Have you ever noticed that? There are many different kind of characteristics in your body which are very similar to your parents, and sometimes you may also find the special characteristics which will be similar to your grandparents. So these characteristics that you obtained from your parents are due to heredity. So if we have to define the process through which the parental characters pass from generation to generation, it's called heredity, or it is also called inheritance.
प्रत्येक जीवको कोषमा हुने कर्मोजोमले बोक्ने वंशाणु जिनमा जीवहरूको गुण तथा लक्षण निर्भर रहन्छ। जिनले गुणहरू बोक्ने भएकाले यसले मातापितामा भएका गुण तथा लक्षणहरू सन्ततिहरूमा सार्दै जान्छ। यसरी मातापिताबाट आफ्ना सन्ततिहरूमा सर्न सक्ने लक्षणलाई वंशानुगत गुण भनिन्छ।
Now let us continue. Do you know who is known as the father of genetics? He is Gregor Johann Mendel. He was born in 2nd July 1822 AD in the small village of Germany. His work was published for the first time in a local journal of Brunn in 1866 AD. Due to the lack of technology at that time, scientists were able to share their works, but not so easily. It was very difficult for them to share their findings, their research, and it was very rare that the reports and research were to be published. And the best part is, in 1980, 3 biologists working independently in 3 different countries got the same result, which was already published by Mendel some 40 years ago. So they supported Mendel's law strongly, and then till now it is acceptable worldwide. His work is nowadays known as Mendelism. The Mendelism is the law, is the research, is the findings, and are the very great answers to all of the questions in heredity. He did a very great work and gave a very huge contribution in science, which made many of us to learn this chapter very easily. He gave these laws. So now let's discuss about the experiment. What did he do? Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment. He selected 7 characteristics of the pea plant. Later on we'll be coming through why did he selected pea plant for his experiment, but now let us discuss some of the characteristics that the pea plant has and he took in account. The characteristics are as follows, and I'll be also saying about the dominant characters and recessive characters of the characters, but you may also be confused about dominant and recessive. Later on we'll be discussing about the dominant and recessive characteristics, but now I'll be telling you about the characteristics, its dominant and recessive features. The color of the flower, the dominant character is purple and the recessive character is white. So when you need to denote these characters, we generally use capital letters for dominant characters and we use the small letters for the recessive characters. In many textbooks you can find the symbols as well. The dominant character, in case of purple, we use capital P, and in case of recessive character we can use small p, small letter p. The second character was position of the flower, and the dominant feature was axial, the axial position of the flower denoted by capital A, and the second or the recessive character in case of position of flower was terminal, and it was denoted by small letter a. Similarly, the next character was height of the plant. Some plants are tall and some are dwarf or short. So the taller plants can be represented by capital T and the dwarf plants can be represented by small t. The next character is the shape of the seed. So the dominant will be the round shape of the seed, and denoted by capital R, whereas the recessive character is the wrinkled seed and represented by small letter r. Similarly, he took another character, the color of the seed. So the dominant character will be yellow, which is represented by capital Y, and the recessive character is green, which is represented by small letter y. Similarly, the another feature is shape of the pod. So the dominant is inflated, represented by capital letter I, and the recessive is constricted, which is represented by small letter I. Similarly, the final and the seventh character was the color of the pod, and the dominant character taken was green, which is represented or denoted by capital letter G, and the recessive character was yellow and is represented by small letter g.
यहाँबाट एउटा क्वेसन इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ। मेन्डललाई जेनेटिक्सका पिता फादर अफ जेनेटिक्स किन भनिएको हो भन्ने प्रश्नको जवाफ, वंशानुगत लक्षणहरू सन्तानहरूमा सर्दै जाने केही प्राकृतिक नियमहरू छन्। यी नियमहरूको बारेमा सबैभन्दा पहिले अध्ययन गर्ने वैज्ञानिक ग्रोगार जोहान मेन्डल हुन्। त्यसैले मेन्डललाई जेनेटिक्सका पिता भनेर भनिन्छ, फादर अफ जेनेटिक्स। मेन्डलले आफ्नो बगैँचामा उमारिएका केराउको बिरुवा पिसम स्याटिभममा प्रयोग गरेका थिए। उनले केराउको बोटमा प्रयोग गर्दा 7 वटा विभिन्न लक्षणहरूलाई आधार लिएका थिए। नम्बर 1, बिरुवाको उचाइ, जसमा अग्लो र होचो। नम्बर 2, फूलको स्थान, काप र टुप्पो। 3, कोसाको रङ्ग, हरियो र पहेँलो। 4, कोसाको आकार, पोटिलो र खुम्चिएको। 5, बिउको आकार, गोलो र चौरिएको। 6, फूलको रङ्ग, खैरो र सेतो, बिउको रङ्ग, पहेँलो र हरियो। मेन्डलले प्रयोगका लागि केराउको बोट छानिनुका कारणहरू यस प्रकार रहेका छन्। यो पनि इम्पोर्टेन्ट क्वेसन हो। मेन्डलले केराउको बिरुवा किन छानियो त, छान्नुको कारणहरू के रहेका छन् त भन्ने यो क्वेसन इम्पोर्टेन्ट हो। नम्बर 1, केराउको जीवनचक्र छोटो हुनु, केराउबाट धेरै सन्ततिहरू उत्पन्न हुनु। नम्बर 3, केराउ उमार्न उब्जाउन सजिलो हुनु। नम्बर 4, केराउको बोटमा विभिन्न थरीका गुणहरू हुनु वा थुप्रै प्रजातिहरू हुनु। नम्बर 5, आवश्यकता अनुसार क्रस पोलिनेसन गराउन सकिने भएकोले। नम्बर 6, केराउको फूल बन्द र उभयलिङ्गी भएकाले प्राकृतिक रूपले नै सेल्फ पोलिनेसन हुन सक्नु। यी गुणहरूको आधारमा, यी कारणहरूको आधारमा मेन्डलले केराउको बिरुवा छानिएको हो। यो तपाईहरुको लागि इम्पोर्टेन्ट क्वेसन हो।
Okay, so let's again discuss about why Mendel chose pea plant for his experiment. There were many other plants in the surrounding found, but Mendel only chose pea plant for his experiment. Why did he do that? So let us go point wise. The first point is, pea plant is naturally self-pollinating, and artificially cross-pollination also can be made in it, which means that it can pollinate by its own natural processes, and also if we try to pollinate, we can transfer the pollen grains from its one flower to another flower. So it is very easy to have pollination and fertilization in the pea plant, so it is very easier to produce its offsprings. It helps to maintain the purity of character in offspring as well. The second point was, it has a number of distinguishable characteristics like the tall and dwarf, red and white flowers, etc. Thus the experiment can be checked easily whether it is occurring or not, whether the changes are made or not. The third point is, the hybrid plants obtained as a result of cross-pollination in pea plants are also fertile. The word fertile means it can further continue the generation with its characteristics. So we can also study about the heredity, where the characters are transferred or not, where they are inheritable or not, whether the offspring are similar to their parents or not. So this can make the study very easier. The fourth point is a large number of offspring can be obtained from a single plant. So as we can see, we can have many number of seeds and we can further produce many single plants. So it is very easier to find the characteristics, to study the features of newly born offspring plants. And also the fifth point, the life cycle is of short duration, which means that we shouldn't have to wait for so long to have the studies, to have the results. A scientist can have it very frequently, and also he can study very brief. He can study number of generations, so the result of the experiment can be obtained in a short period. After that, the sixth point is these plants are convenient to handle, easy to handle, and they can be grown anywhere. So this plant need not need many deep efforts. So the plants can be handled in a convenient way. It can be grown anywhere, so it is very easy to study the features. So due to this all reasons, Mendel chose pea plant for his experiment, which made him a successful scientist, and also he is known as the father of genetics. Okay, students, now let us know some terms that are frequently used in genetics, because later on we'll be talking about the different kind of laws which Mendel gave us, and we are studying in the textbooks and according to our curriculum. So let us go through some terms used in genetics. So the first term would be unit character. Do you know what is it? A unit character is a definite external character of an individual of a cross. It is a definite external character of an individual of a cross, which means that, for example, each organism consists of its own types of characters. For example, you can take the example of a rose plant. It has its own type of leaf, it has its own type of flower, it has its own type of stem. So these all kind of characters will be acting as the unit character for it.
युनिट क्यारेक्टर कुनै एउटा खास गुण बोक्ने तत्त्व एउटा मात्रै हुन्छ, त्यसले अरू गुण बोक्दैन। जस्तै इक्जाम्पलको लागि अग्लो हुने गुण बोक्ने तत्त्वले त्यही मात्र गुण बोक्छ, अरू गुण बोक्दैन।
Okay, now the next topic would be monohybrid and dihybrid cross. Many of the students are confused with this. Let us, I'll be saying about the definition. When only one unit character is involved, like we are only in account if we are taking only the tall plant, short plant, or the type of the flower, color of the flower. Okay, so these kind of characters, if only one character or the unit character is involved in a cross, then it is called the monohybrid cross. And also if we are taking the more than one, or when two unit characters are involved in a cross, if we are making a cross between some kind of plants, and if the two number of characters are involved in a cross, like we generally use the symbols of RR or small rr or capital BB. So like this, if the cross involves two unit characters, then it is called dihybrid cross.
मोनोहाइब्रिड एन्ड डाइहाइब्रिड क्रस। मोनोहाइब्रिडको डिफिनेसन एउटा मात्र फरक गुण भएको बिरुवाहरू बीच परपरागसेचन गराउने प्रक्रियालाई मोनोहाइब्रिड क्रस भनिन्छ। एउटा मात्र फरक गुण भएका बिरुवाहरू बीचमा सेल्फ पोलिनेसन गराउने प्रक्रियालाई मोनोहाइब्रिड क्रस भनिन्छ। डाइहाइब्रिड क्रस दुईवटा फरक गुण भएका बिरुवाहरू बीच परपरागसेचन गराई नयाँ सन्तान उत्पादन गर्ने प्रक्रियालाई डाइहाइब्रिड क्रस भनिन्छ। दुईटा फरक गुण भएका बिरुवाहरू बीच परपरागसिंचन गराई नयाँ सन्तान उत्पादन गर्ने प्रक्रियालाई डाइहाइब्रिड क्रस भनिन्छ।
Okay, students, now let us go through the topic dominant and recessive characters. As I said already, when we were dealing about the characters or traits of pea plant selected by Mendel for his experiment, at that time I said that the dominant characters or recessive characters, and you may be confused about that. The dominant and recessive characters, I'll be dealing about those now. In a cross, those characters which express themselves by covering the other character are called dominant characters, which means that if we take two pea plants, the one with the character of tall and the another with the character of dwarf, and if the cross is made between them, if the tall is dominant, then the hybrid will be all tall. So which means that the dwarfism will hide itself, or we can also say that the tall factor dominates the dwarf factor, which means that the tall factor will be dominant and the dwarf factor will be recessive. So when we go through the definition of recessive characters, it can be said as, in a cross, those characters which are present but cannot express themselves due to presence of dominant characters are called recessive characters.
फरक जोडा गुणहरूलाई आपसमा परागसिंचन गराउँदा पहिलो वंशमा प्राप्त हुने गुणलाई प्रबल गुण भनिन्छ। फरक जोडा गुणहरूलाई आपसमा परागसिंचन गराउँदा पहिलो वंशमा लुकेर बस्ने नदेखिने गुणलाई लुप्त गुण भनिन्छ। यसको लागि एउटा टल प्लान्ट छ, अर्को ड्वार्फ प्लान्ट छ। त्यो दुईटाको बीचमा हामीले परपरागसिंचन गरायौं। परागसिंचन गराउँदा यदि टल देखियो भने पहिलो वंशमा ठिमा टल हाइब्रिड टल देखियो भने त्यो नै प्रबल गुण हो। तर नदेखिएको गुण त्यहाँनिर ड्वार्फको भयो, होचोको भयो, त्यो भनेको लुप्त गुण हो। जुन देखिन्छ त्यो प्रबल गुण हो, नदेखिने गुण चाहिँ लुप्त गुण हो।
Okay, now let us go through the next topic or the next term which is frequently used in genetics. It is allele or allelomorphous. A pair of genes controlling the pair of contrasting characters is usually known as the allelic pair. The members of an allelic pair are said to represent their alleles each other. For example, you can also take the allelic pair like capital T and small t, where capital T will be allele and small t in its vice versa. Like if we use the symbol like capital R and small r for the red and the white, so the allele will be capital T will be allele of small t and the small t will be allele of capital T. Likewise, in case of red and white, it will be as the capital R will be the allele of small r, and similarly the small r will be the allele of capital R.
कन्ट्रास्टिङ क्यारेक्टरको जोडी नियन्त्रण गर्ने जिनको एक जोडी सामान्यतया एक एलिलिक जोडीको रूपमा चिनिन्छ। इक्जाम्पलको लागि, इन द एलिलिक पेयर क्यापिटल टी स्मल टी, क्यापिटल टी इज अलिल अफ स्मल टी एन्ड भाइस वर्सा, जस्ट अपोजिट। क्यापिटल टी र स्मल टी छ भने क्यापिटल टीले अलिलको काम गर्यो भने स्मल टी, अनि स्मल टीले जब काम गर्छ भने यो त्यतिखेर क्यापिटल टी छेउमा बस्छ। त यो एक अर्काको परिपूरक हो। जोडी नियन्त्रण गर्ने, जुन यो कन्ट्रास्टिङ क्यारेक्टरको जोडी नियन्त्रण गर्ने जिनको एक जोडी सामान्यतया एक एलिलिक जोडीको रूपमा चिनिन्छ।
Okay, now the next topic is phenotype and genotype, which is very important for SEE preparing students, because it is the most frequent question asked in the SEE examination. You will be very clear about this. The phenotype ratio or the genotype ratio is the frequently asked question. So let me tell you the definition first. The morphological appearance of an organism is called phenotype of that organism, and the genetic makeup of an organism is called genotype of that organism, which means that the morphological appearance is the physical appearance, how the organism look like, and the genetic makeup or what kind of genes is present inside the body or of an organism, it is called the genotype feature of that organism. For example, a pea plant having the traits capital T and capital T, which represents a pure tall character, is both phenotypically and genotypically tall. But another tall pea plant which is hybrid and has the allele of capital T and small t is phenotypically tall because it looks tall, because it has the capital T character which is dominant and the small t character which is recessive. So the recessive character will be hiding itself because of the dominant. So it is phenotypically it looks tall, but genotypically it also has a small t, which means that it has tall and dwarf both.
फिनोटाइप एन्ड जिनोटाइप. फिनोटाइप जीवहरूको बाहिरी रूप वा बाहिरबाट देखिने गुणलाई फिनोटाइप भनिन्छ. बाहिरबाट जुन हामी गुण हेर्छौँ त्यो भनेको फिनोटाइप हो. कुनै पनि जीवको जिनले बोकेको गुणलाई जिनोटाइप, जिनले बोकेको गुण छ भने जिनोटाइप, बाहिरबाट जे देखिन्छ त्यो भनेको फिनोटाइप.
Okay, I remembered something. If my students are listening me right now, then you must be remembering this. I gave a shortcut to remember this, to talk about phenotype and genotype. If you guess the phenotype, the pronunciation or the first word which is which starts as a phenotype, you can also recall very fast as physical. So and genotype will be as per the genes. So now let's go to the next topic, which is hybrid. The hybrid are those organisms which have their phenotype and genotype different, because it is all about allele. If it contains the phenotype and genotype ratio or the phenotype and genotype characters, but hybrids are those organisms which have their phenotype and genotype different, which means that they contain the both allele pair, like capital T and small t, or capital R and small r, or capital S and small s. You can take any example.
लुप्त गुण देखा परेका वंशानुगत गुण नै ठिमा हो. यसमा आमा बुवाको गुण सुरुमा देखा पर्दैन.
Okay, students, till now we discussed many terms which are frequently used in genetics and that we should know. Before that, we also discussed about heredity, the John Mendel, what did he do, and experiments, also about a little about genetics. So we are going to take a small COVID break to wash our hand, and after that we'll be back with the genetics and also some of the rules he gave, and we'll be talking about the Mendelism more brief. See you.
सोमानी ड्युरा ग्रेस लन्च पूर्वाञ्चलको एक मात्र सोरुम सिटी मार्बलमा. सोमानीका ड्युरा ग्रेस ठुला ठुला टाइल्सका साथसाथै जेक्वायरका फर्सेट र सेनेटरी वेयरका साथै मार्बल ग्रेनाइट, मार्बल फ्लोगार्डका सीपीभीसी, पीवीसी फिटिङ र पीवीसी बोर्डहरू खोजे जस्तो उचित मूल्यमा पाउनुहुनेछ.
सिटी मार्बल, विराटनगर, भिरकुडी चोक, डीएसपी रोड.
फोन 021 52 71 81 52 71 81.
गर्दा नि हुँदै हुन्न यो त भयो अति.
यतिका वर्ष कुखुरा पाले केही भएन प्रगति. लौ लौ हेर तिमीलाई कुखुरा कति साना साना, हामीले झै पकाउनु पर्छ पोषक फिलेट दाना.
अचम्मै हुन्छ, 36 दिनसम्म 3 किलो 300 ग्राम खुवाउनु पर्छ. पोषकले नै 36 दिनमा कुखुरा 2 किलो भन्दा बढी बढ्छ. यतिका साल काम गरे समय गयो खेर,
मिस्टर गरे पोषक फिलेट दाना नबेचेर. खुबै चल्छ मार्केटमा कुखुराको यो खाना, अझै दिनुहोस् पोषक दाना भन्छन् सबैजना. सबले सधैँ खुवाउँदैछौँ पोषक फिलेट दाना, माला मल्छ मुरी फल्छ गजब छ पोषक फिलेट दाना.
पोषक फिलेट दाना अपन और अपन परिवार के निरोगी राखे के जिम्मा हमार अहाँ के चीज. तै द्वारे सरकार के बात सब कोई मानल जाओ. कुछ दिन घर में रहो। नोवेल कोरोना अर्थात कोविड-19 संक्रमण से स्वयं, परिवार, समाज और देश के बचे नहीं हमार आहा के कर्तव्य छी। कोरोना संक्रमण से बच व बचावे के सरकार के निर्धारण के नियम के पालन करू। रोग व्याधि से बचबे तखने धन, संपत्ति, ऐश्वर्य, सुख के महत्व होय छे। तै द्वारे लॉकडाउन के पालन करू, रोग से मुक्त रहो। प्रदेश नंबर 1 सरकार द्वारा प्रदेशवासी सभक लेल सार्वजनिक सूचना।
अब मेरो नयाँ साथी हेलो टु भेनस स्किन एन्ड हेयर ट्रान्सप्लान्ट क्लिनिक, कोशी अञ्चल अस्पताल उत्तरपट्टि, एमआर डायग्नोस्टिक भवनको दोस्रो तल्ला, विराटनगर, 9810 55 0316 www.venus.com.np। अब बन्ने होइन त एक्स्ट्राअर्डिनरी।
बोर बोर मान्दै थिए एक दिन सबै, आइडिया फुर्यो नेबीको म भित्र झट्टै। नेबीको बिस्कुटको प्याकेट जसै खोले, नेबीको भन्ना साथ सबका आँखा खुले। नेबीको सबले आवाज लाए, नेबीको बिस्कुट खाने हो नेबीको भन्दै रमाए। जब खाए नेबीको मन खुसी सबैको, डेजर्ट बनी मैले बाँडे चकलेट नेबीको को गजब भयो सबैजना ताल ठोक्न थाले। नेबीको बिस्कुट खाने हो नेबीको भन्दै रम्न थाले।
नेभिकोले अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय स्तरको कुकिजहरू पनि बजारमा उपलब्ध गराएको जानकारी गराउँदछौँ। नेपालको पहिलो बिस्कुट तथा कन्फेक्सनरी उत्पादक बिस्कुट भनेकै नेभिको। हेल्दी फुड हेल्दी मुड।
ए बुढी घरमा भएको सबै पैसा झिक, अब बाकसमा पैसा थन्काउने दिन गए।
अनि के भन्छन् यिनी, घरको सबै पैसा?
हो नि, अब पैसाले पैसा तान्छ। मञ्जुश्री फाइनान्सको बचत खातामा सर्वाधिक 8.5% सम्म र मुद्दती खातामा 11% सम्म ब्याज पाएपछि पैसा घरमा राख्ने होइन, मञ्जुश्री फाइनान्समा खाता खोल्ने हो अनि राख्ने हो। आवश्यक पर्दा छिटो र छरितो कर्जा पनि। नेपाल राष्ट्र बैंकबाट ग वर्गको इजाजत प्राप्त मञ्जुश्री फाइनान्स लिमिटेड। मुख्य कार्यालय नयाँ बानेश्वर काठमाडौँ, शाखा कार्यालय विराटनगर, महेन्द्र चोक विराटनगर मोरङ। फोन 021 521 194 521 195।
संगीत हो सागर मनको बाहर। 91.2 BFM 91.2.
Okay, welcome back. You are in a radio program, SCE Preparation with NTA Morung and BFM 91.2 MHz. This program has been produced by the mutual effort of Nepal Teachers Association Morung and BFM 91.2, 100% yours. Okay, students, we were discussing about the Mendel experiment. Why did he took the pea plant for his experiment? And we also discussed about the terms that are generally used in genetics. Now let us go through the genetics and also the laws and how did the Mendel do the experiment. So I'll be talking about the definition of genetics first. The branch of science which deals with the mechanism of heredity and variation is known as genetics. So based on the theories the Mendel took, we are still learning his experiments. So what are the conclusions of Mendel's experiment, or how did he do? Let us know more about that. Mendel took pure tall pea plant and pure dwarf pea plant for his experiment. In a monohybrid cross, we already discussed about a monohybrid cross. In a monohybrid cross, he made the artificial cross between the tall and the dwarf pea plant with the help of a brush. In the first filial generation, all the offspring plants were found tall. Again, the hybrid plants in F1 generation were allowed to self-pollinate. So, in the F2 generation or the second filial generation, 75% of the pea plants were found tall and 25% were short, or we can also call them dwarf. So if we talk about the ratio of tall and short pea plant in F2 generation was found to be 3:1, and it is termed as phenotype ratio. I already said we can also recall from physical. So the physical appearance or the phenotype ratio was 3:1. Again, the 75% of tall pea plants which were hybrid were further examined in F3 generation, and it was found that 25% of the pea plant were pure tall and 50% were hybrid tall, and the rest 25% were pure dwarf. So finally the genotype ratio was found to be 1:2:1. The conclusion of this F3 generation of his experiment are listed in some points. I'll say the points now. The first point of the conclusion was pure tall pea plants form tall plants only. The second point, hybrid tall pea plants form both tall and short plants in the ratio 3:1. Pure dwarf pea plants form dwarf plants only. So these 3 points, I'd like to repeat the points again. Pure tall pea plants form tall plants only. The hybrid tall pea plants form both tall and short plants in the ratio 3:1 because of the allele present inside it. And the third point, pure dwarf pea plants form dwarf plants only. So Mendel tested the result of his experiment by taking the 7 pairs of contrasting characters we discussed above of the pea plants, and he found the same result in each case. So because of the repeated same results, this was written in his research paper, and we are studying it now.
जेनेटिक्स वंशानुक्रम र प्रवृत्तिको अध्ययन गर्ने विज्ञानलाई जेनेटिक्स भनिन्छ। हेरिडिटी एन्ड भेरिएसन, वंशानुक्रम र प्रवृत्तिको अध्ययन गर्ने विज्ञानलाई जेनेटिक्स भनिन्छ। हेरिडिटी एन्ड भेरिएसन। अब F1 जेनेरेसनको कुरा गरौँ, F2 जेनेरेसनको कुरा गरौँ। इक्जाम्पलको लागि अग्लो बिरुवाहरू र होचा बिरुवाहरू बीच परपरागसेचन हुँदा जे नतिजा देखिन्छ त्यसलाई F1 पहिलो वंश फर्स्ट फिलियल जेनेरेसन भनिन्छ। अग्लो बिरुवाहरू र होचा बिरुवाहरू बीच परपरागसेचन हुँदा जे नतिजा देखिन्छ त्यसलाई F1 वंश फर्स्ट फिलियल जेनेरेसन। पुनः फेरि आएको परिणामहरू बीच परपरागसेचन गराउँदा आउने नतिजालाई दोस्रो वंश भनिन्छ। जुन नतिजा F1 मा आयो तिनीहरू बीच नै परपरागसेचन गराउँदा जुन नतिजा आउँछ त्यसलाई सेकेन्ड फिलियल जेनेरेसन F2 जेनेरेसन भनिन्छ। फेरि यसैलाई कन्टिन्यू गर्ने हो भने F3 जेनेरेसन बन्द पुग्छ। मेन्डलले सबै 7 जोडा गुणहरूको यही प्रक्रियाबाट प्रयोग र अवलोकन गर्दा उस्तै प्रकारको परिणाम पाए। मेन्डलको मोनोहाइब्रिड क्रसमा फिनोटाइप अनुपात 3:1 र जिनोटाइप अनुपात 1:2:1 को रेसियो आयो। अब यसका लागि अग्ला बिरुवाहरू लियौँ जसलाई रिप्रेजेन्ट गरौँ क्यापिटल टीबाट। टी दुईटा राख्यौँ। होचा बिरुवा लियौँ, स्मल टी रिप्रेजेन्ट गरियौँ। दुईटालाई क्रस गराउँदा पहिलो वंशमा एउटा क्यापिटल टी लियौँ, यताबाट स्मल टी लियौँ, त्यो F1 वंश भयो। त्यो F1 वंशमा कि त सबै अग्ला हुन्छन् कि त सबै होचा हुन्छन्, तर तिनीहरू शुद्ध न त अग्ला हुन्छ न त शुद्ध होचा हुन्छन्। तिनीहरू ठिमा हुन्छन्, कि त ठिमा अग्ला हुन्छन् कि त ठिमा होचा हुन्छन्। अनि जुन अहिले पहिलो वंशमा हामी देख्यौँ हाइब्रिड ठिमा, यसलाई फेरि यिनीहरू बीच सेल्फ पोलिनेसन स्वपरागसेचन गराउँदा दोस्रो वंश सेकेन्ड फिलियल जेनेरेसनमा त्यसको चार्ट बनाऊ, कोठा राखौँ हामी, 4टा बक्स बनाऊ, 4टा कोठा जसमा पोलिनेसनको साइन एकातिर राखौँ यता माथि क्यापिटल टी, अर्को कोठामा स्मल टी राखौँ, त्यस्तै यता अर्को साइडतिर क्यापिटल टी र स्मल टी राखौँ। यिनीहरूको बिचमा स्वपरागसिंचन गराउँदाखेरि यसको नतिजा के पाइन्छ भने शुद्ध अग्लो टिटी एउटा देखिन्छ, ठिमाहा दुईटा देखिन्छ, शुद्ध होचा एउटा देखिन्छ। पर्सेन्टको कुरा गर्दाखेरि शुद्ध अग्ला कति पर्सेन्ट देखिए भनेपछि 25%, ठिमा 50%, शुद्ध होचा 25% देखिए। फेरि यिनीहरू बीच सेल्फ पोलिनेसन गराउँदा तेस्रो वंश थर्ड फिलियल जेनेरेसनमा परिणाम देखियो। त्यो परिणाम कस्तो देखियो भने शुद्ध अग्लोबाट F3 जेनेरेसनको कुरा गरिरहेको छु अहिले मैले। शुद्ध अग्लोबाट शुद्ध अग्लो टिटी मात्र देखियो। जति शुद्ध अग्ला बिरुवाहरू थिए ती सबैबाट शुद्ध अग्ला बिरुवाहरू मात्रै देखिए। जुन शुद्ध होचा बिरुवाहरू थिए त्यहाँबाट शुद्ध होचा बिरुवाहरू मात्रै देखिए। तर ठिमाहाबाट फरक देखियो। यसबाट शुद्ध होचोबाट शुद्ध होचो मात्रै देखियो, शुद्ध अग्लोबाट शुद्ध अग्लो मात्रै देखियो। तर ठिमाहाबाट रेसियो भनेको 1:2:1 को रेसियोमा जिनोटाइकली देखियो, फिनोटाइपिकली 3:1 देखियो। यो मेन्डलले F3 जेनेरेसनबाट निकालेका नतिजाहरू यस प्रकारका छन्। नम्बर 1, शुद्ध अग्ला केराउबाट अग्लै मात्र बिरुवा भए। दोस्रो, ठिमाहा अग्ला बिरुवाबाट फेरि 3:1 को अनुपातमा अग्ला र होचा बिरुवा भए। तेस्रो, शुद्ध होचा बिरुवाबाट होचा मात्र बिरुवा भए।
So now we will be discussing about the Mendel's law. On the basis of the result obtained by his experiment, he proposed the 3 laws, but according to our curriculum we'll be only discussing about 2 laws today. The 3 laws are law of dominance, law of segregation, or it is also called as law of purity of gametes, and the third law is law of independent assortment. So let us start from the first law, the law of dominance. It is the first law of Mendel. The law of dominance states that when a cross is made between a pair of pure contrasting characters, you will be knowing about pure contrasting characters, it is only the similar allele. Like if we have a pure tall character, we'll be denoting it by capital T and capital T. If it is a pure dwarf character, then we'll be representing it by small t and small t, because if we talk about tall and dwarf, the tall character is dominant and the dwarf is recessive. So we never use a small d or a capital D. We always use capital T and a small t to make it more easier. So I was talking about the law of dominance. When a cross is made between a pair of pure contrasting characters, only one of them is able to express itself phenotypically, while the other remains hidden in F1 generation. Which means that when the cross is made between the pure characters like pure tall and pure dwarf, then in case of hybrid, in F1 generation we will have the 4 offspring, which will all have the pair of hybrid characters like capital T and small t. So for an example, if a cross is made between pure characters, you can take any example, you can take any 2 contrasting characters and you can make a chart. You can represent the chart in also a table. So as you feel easy, you will always get the characters will be hybrid and they will be in a pair of the contrasting characters will be in a pair like the capital in a small pair, and will always be representing the hybrid.
मेन्डलका नियमहरू, यसका 3 वटा नियमहरू छन्। प्रबलताका नियम, ल अफ डोमिनेन्स, लैङ्गिक शुद्धताको नियम, ल अफ प्युरिटी ग्यामिट्स। नम्बर 3, स्वतन्त्र गुण प्रसारणको नियम, ल अफ इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट असर्टमेन्ट। नम्बर 1, प्रबलताको नियम, जुन ल अफ डोमिनेन्स भन्छौँ हामी। डोमिनेन्ट क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक र रेसेसिभको कुरा हामी सुरुमै गरिसक्यौँ। फेरि एकचोटि त्यही कुरालाई दोहोऱ्याउँछौँ। यसमा हामी के कुरा लेख्छौँ भाइ बहिनीहरू, यसमा अब त्यही डोमिनेन्सकै र रेसेसिभकै डिफिनेसनलाई यहाँ हामी रिपिट गर्छौँ अनि त्यसैलाई नै हामी प्रबलताको नियम भनेर भन्छौँ। दुई विपरीत गुणहरू मध्ये पहिलो वंशमा एउटा गुणले मात्र आफूलाई व्यक्त गर्न सक्दछ र अर्को गुण दबिएर बस्छ। यस नियमलाई प्रबलताको नियम भनिन्छ। इक्जाम्पलको लागि अग्लो र होचो बोटबाट जन्मिएका पहिलो वंशका सन्ततिहरू सबै अग्लो भए, त्यसकारण अग्लो हुने गुण प्रबल भयो र होचो हुने गुण लुप्त भयो। जुन गुण देखियो त्यो प्रबल भयो, जुन गुण देखिएन त्यो चाहिँ लुप्त गुण भयो। अर्को इक्जाम्पल एउटा राखेका छौँ हामी। कालो रङको गिनीपिग र सेतो रङको गिनीपिगलाई आपसमा क्रस गराउँदा एउटा कालो रङको गिनीपिग लियौँ, अर्को सेतो रङको गिनीपिग लियौँ। तिनीहरूको बिचमा क्रस गराउँदा जन्मिएका पहिलो वंशका सन्ततिहरू सबै कालो गिनीपिग भए अथवा सबै सेता भए। यदि कालो लेख्नुभयो भने त्यसकारण कालो हुने गुण प्रबल भयो, यदि सेतो लेख्नुभयो भने सेतो हुने गुण प्रबल हुन्छ भने अल्टरनेटमा यसलाई कालो राख्नुभयो भने कालो प्रबल भयो भने सेतो लुप्त भए, सेतो प्रबल भयो भने कालो चाहिँ लुप्त गुण भयो। त यसमा एउटालाई देखाउँदा अर्कोलाई दबाउनु पर्यो, कि त कालो राख्दा सेतोलाई दबाउनु पर्यो, कि त सेतो अगाडि ल्याउँदा कालोलाई दबाउनु पर्यो। त एउटा मात्र देखाउने हो, कि त सेतो कि त कालो, तर त्यसभित्र चाहिँ जिन रहिरहन्छ नि, त्यो हाइब्रिड मात्र हुन्छ, प्योर चाहिँ बनेका हुँदैनन्। यो प्रबलताको नियम अन्तर्गतमा यति कुरा लेख्न सकिन्छ।
So the next law is law of segregation, or it is also commonly known as the law of purity of gametes. It is the second law of Mendel. This law states that if the two members of a pair of factors separate during the formation of gametes, they do not blend with each other but segregate out into different gametes. Thus, the gamete is not impure, which means that whenever they are interchanged, or whenever they are found in allele, or whenever they are recessive and they disappear or they don't show their characters very openly, then what happens is the dominant characters always dominate the recessive character, and so we think that the recessive character may be absent, but it is not true. The gamete will not be impure, so they will always be present in a human or any kind of organism's body and can be seen after some generations.
लैङ्गिक शुद्धताको नियम ल अफ प्युरिटी अफ ग्यामेट्स। पहिलो वंशको ठिमामा दुई फरक गुणहरू सँगै रहे तापनि आफ्नै मौलिकता नगुमाई शुद्ध नै रहेका हुन्छन्। जब कोषमा मियोसिस कोष विभाजन हुन्छ र ग्यामेट बन्छ, तब जोडामा रहेका ती गुणहरू बाहेक जिनहरू छुटिन्छन् र एउटा ग्यामेटमा एउटा गुण र अर्को ग्यामेटमा अर्कै गुण हुन्छ। यस नियमलाई लैङ्गिक शुद्धताको नियम भनिन्छ। एउटा इक्जाम्पल हामी सुनौँ। शुद्ध अग्लो लियौँ, क्यापिटल टिटी राख्यौँ, शुद्ध होचो स्मल टिटी राख्यौँ, जसमा केराउका बिरुवाहरू लिए। शुद्ध अग्लो र शुद्ध होचा लिए। क्यापिटल टिटीले रिप्रेजेन्ट गर्यौँ शुद्ध अग्लोलाई, स्मल टिटीले रिप्रेजेन्ट गर्यौँ शुद्ध होचोलाई। दुईटालाई क्रस गरायौँ, त्यसबाट क्यापिटल टी र स्मल टी भए, त्यो ठिमा भए, ठिमा अग्ला भए, त्यसलाई हामी F1 जेनेरेसन भन्यौँ। फेरि सेल्फ पोलिनेसन त्यसमा गरायौँ, त्यसलाई F2 जेनेरेसनमा लाँदैछौँ। अघि नै मैले चार्टका कुरा गरिसकेका थिएँ र यसमा चाहिँ सेल्फ पोलिनेसन गराउँदा यी ठिमा अग्ला केराउका बिरुवाहरूमा सेल्फ पोलिनेसन गराउँदा F2 जेनेरेसन दोस्रो वंशमा अग्ला होचा केराउका बिरुवाहरू 3:1 को अनुपातमै देखा पर्छन्। फिनोटाइपिकली 3:1, जेनोटाइपिकली 1:2:1 को रेसियो देखा पर्छ। त्यस्तै एउटा अर्को इक्जाम्पल छ। टीएच मोर्गनले यो नियम डोर्सोफिला नामक एक प्रकारको झिङ्गामा गरेका थिए। उनले लामो पखेटा र छोटा पखेटा भएका डोर्सोफिलाका मोनोहाइब्रिड क्रस गराउँदा पहिलो वंशमा सबै लामा पखेटा भएको डोर्सोफिलालाई सेल्फ पोलिनेसन गराउँदा दोस्रो वंशमा लामो पखेटा छोटा पखेटा र ठिमा लामो पखेटा भएका झिङ्गा पाएका थिए। फिनोटाइपिकली यसको रेसियो सेम हो 3:1, जिनोटाइपिकली 1:2:1। त यो मेन्डल्सको लो प्लान्टमा मात्रै लागू नभएर अहिले एउटा ड्रोसोफिला नामक इक्जाम्पल पनि तपाईँहरूलाई प्रस्तुत गरेँ। त यो गर्नुको कारण के भनेपछि तपाईँहरूलाई यो यसरी प्रश्न पनि सोध्न सक्छ यहाँबाट। मेन्डलको प्रयोग बिरुवामा मात्र नभएर जनावरमा पनि प्रयोग गर्न सकिन्छ भनेर प्रश्न सोध्न सक्छ। मेन्डलले प्रबलताको नियम केराउको बोटमा जस्तै गरी जनावरहरूमा पनि उत्तिकै प्रयोगमा आएको देखिन्छ। यसका लागि गिनीपिग र टिएच मोर्कनले ड्रोसोफिला नामक झिङ्गामा पनि प्रयोग गरेका छन् भनेर लेख्नु।
So now we will be discussing some of the features which are present in human beings and which are dominant and recessive. You may compare, like, if a father has the dominant character and the character will are recessive in the mother, then the offspring will get the same character like dominant. Like you can take an example, like if the father has curly hair and the mother has the straight hair, then the child will be having the curly hair, because the curly hair in the human beings are dominant. So I'll be telling about some more features, like isolated ear lobule is dominant and the joint ear lobule is recessive. Presence of dimple mark is dominant and absence of dimple mark is recessive. Straight thumb or no hitchhiker thumb are dominant, and back turned thumb or hitchhiker thumb is recessive. So the next is rolling tongue is dominant and the non-rolling tongue is recessive. Folding of tongue is dominant and non-folding tongue is recessive. So after that, dear students, will be going through the small topic variation and mutation. Do you know what the variation is? The variation may be defined as the morphological or a psychological change in the organisms due to the either genetic or environmental reasons. Some kind of variation can be seen in environment or in the different kind of organisms. And if we talk about variation, it was first coined by Dutch biologist De Vries. It is defined as the sudden chromosomal change by which very new and different characters from parents are seen in offsprings.
भाइ बहिनीहरू, आजको लागि होमवर्क म यहाँ दिइरहेको छु, तपाईहरू टिप्नु होला। प्रश्नहरू, क्वेशन नम्बर 1, मेन्डललाई किन वंशज विज्ञानको पिता भनिन्छ? Why is Mendel called father of genetics? मेन्डललाई किन वंशज विज्ञानको पिता भनिन्छ? Why is Mendel called father of genetics? क्वेशन नम्बर 2, मेन्डलले केराउको बिरुवा लिनुका 3 वटा कारणहरू लेख्नुहोस्। मेन्डलले केराउका बिरुवा लिनुका 3 वटा कारणहरू लेख्नुहोस्। Why Mendel select pea plant gave 3 reasons. क्वेशन नम्बर 3, कालो र सेतो रंग भएका मुसाहरूबाट जन्मेको सन्तानहरूमा पहिलो र दोस्रो वंशमा देखा पर्ने नतिजा मेन्डलले गरेको प्रयोग अनुसार फिनोटाइप र जिनोटाइप दुवै देख्ने गरी चार्टद्वारा देखाउनुहोस्। Draw a chart to show both phenotype and genotype ratio of the result obtained in the first and second filial generation of offsprings of mouse having black color and white color according to Mendel's experimental result. भोलिको विषय अनिवार्य गणित हुनेछ।
Okay, dear students and all of our listeners, thank you everyone, especially the SEE preparing students. Thank you for your patience. Tomorrow you will be having compulsory maths, and the next week we'll be again back with the science. If you have any questions related to this topic as we read today, feel free to post the questions in our Facebook group SEE Preparation at BFM. We'll send the possible answers there. Thank you for being with us. Stay home, stay alert, stay safe. Thank you. Namaste. Bye bye.
BFM 91.2 को स्टुडियो घडीमा साँझको ठिक 5 बजेको छ।
यस टाइम चेकका प्रायोजक
सप्तकोशी ओपिसी सिमेन्ट पूर्वको